Hello there, it's Josh here. Quick video with two fancies at Chepstow in this evening's Racing League meeting. I've gone for in the 7 p.m. Glamorous Breeze at 11 to 2 and with 4 places and 12 runners. I've backed each way and will be gutted if she's out the first four, but I'm hoping might be the one to beat here, but we shall see. And then in the final race on the card, a bit of a flyer at a bigger price. I've gone for Gorak at 14s. I wouldn't want them losing a leg or drifting much behind that beyond that come race time, nor on the machine. But yeah, here's the other one for me, and I'll quickly explain why for both. So yeah, I was flicking through the Excellent Gigi's race cards. As I often do. And yeah, the first thing that caught my eye, I suppose, was the form of the Mason Yard down here, a green 14. Just clicking that, we can see the yard are going fairly well, and especially in the last 14 days, 2 from 18, 5 places, 71% rivals beaten. All those figures a fair way above the 365-day average, and yeah, that's a positive. Trevor Whelan rides this place fairly well, especially in the last year as well. So there shouldn't be any issues there, and he knows the horse. So that was a kind of way in. The Instant Expert was my next port of call, putting on handicaps flat. There is potentially, well, 3 to 6 mils of rain today, drizzle. It's been fairly fast there. I would think it would take the rain fairly well. The quicker the ground, the better for Glamorous Breeze. Good is fine. If it does go on the softer side somehow and they've underestimated the forecast and the amount they're due, then that may pose a bit of a problem. But assuming it's fairly quick ground and it might take it well and continue to be good to firm, well, if it is on the Instant Expert, hopefully you can see kind of one of the reasons I was intrigued. Evidently fast ground isn't a problem. The class is fine, 2 from 2 over this course and distance, which is useful. And actually only one of 2 horses, as you can see here, with all flat runs, who have ever run at Chepstow. And you know, it does have the kind of downhill bit at the beginning, and it's very undulating up and down, and then the kind of climb to the line. So yeah, it is a track which some horses just don't handle. So having course form here is certainly a positive. Obviously, it's not impossible for those that have never raced here. But yeah, that ticks. Well, she ticks that box. And the other thing I wanted to look at was obviously it's a handicap and an assessment of handicap marks, and whether you think a horse is well handicapped or not is an essential assessment within a handicap. Of course, that does include assessing horses who you think are open to improvement and have yet to ever show their best and yet to show and yet to get to their ceiling, and making an assessment on that. But of course also those that may have previously hit the high and are coming back down. Glamorous Breeze would be in that box, I suppose. Her last winning mark was off 85. She's off 81 here, so it's clearly handicapped to strike when it all drops right. And you know, in these 5 furlong sprints, it's very much, well, racing generally split second stuff, but especially over these distances, small margins, bumping into the right opposition, everything falling right on the day, pace, track position, you name it. And yeah, evidently that's a positive. Of those with turf handicap wins, which Existent isn't one, she's the only one below her last winning mark. Everything else, as you can see here, Radio Gugu £2 above, £5 4, and so on. Now that doesn't mean that well, sorry, Bar Ziggy's Queen is also £4 below last winning mark. Those types may be worth noting more generally for kind of well handicapped horses and when they might pop up. Now that's not saying something else in here isn't well handicapped, in the sense they're progressive and they might move on past this mark, or they may have historical form and have won above these marks before. This is just their previous winning mark, but going back even further before their last win, they may well have won off hire again. So it's only a guide, but it's great for a glance to get a feel on what may be well handicapped or not, and whether the others in the race have plenty to prove or need to step forward in any case. And all of these clearly need to improve again past their last winning mark. I have been through all of the opposition, so I'm not going to bore you and do that. You're welcome to do that in your own time if you wish. But certainly all those boxes, that instant expert handicap mark, tick my boxes, the yard form. The other thing has been running well, and it, is £5-6 below these early runs of the season, and £8 below seasonal return. So yeah, clearly the mark is now workable. I like looking at these Racing Post ratings figures, especially if they're kind of above the horse's current mark and they've kind of hit some highs in recent runs. That's always a positive for me. And yeah, the other thing to say is, of course, replay watching. Do go and watch that Sandown race back if you wish. It was a horse. She's clearly a horse coming in here in form. She travelled all over them behind the pace, didn't get any run at all, got buffeted about. The race then developed while the jockey had just had to sit still. Eventually got out and close to the line, but under hands and heels. Not beaten far, was doing all the best work at the end on the 9-12. Moved there like a well handicapped horse, as you'd expect, given a few pounds below the last winning mark, and moved there like a horse in form. The race has worked out okay. A horse in behind has since come out and won, which I always like to see, or horses in front, horses behind. Alligator Alley has since come out and won, who actually reopposes here. So that's some decent form. There's a little bit of a weight swing there as well, which may help. Rating swing. So yeah, ticked all those boxes. And the final thing, pace. If I just click the pace map here, it can help pay to be more patiently ridden. There's not loads of pace, and yeah, well, Radio Gugu stays 6, so I'm hoping Jack blasts out and provides a bit of a target to aim at for Glamorous Breeze. Miss Altitude can be up there as well. Oisin Murphy may not have his too far off. Glamorous Breeze can just lob along, may well get out and end up tracking the Racing League teammate, and can then hopefully pounce at a course that she loves. So yeah, I think we'll be in the right place where on paper there isn't loads of pace. You can clearly come from all over this course and distance. But yeah, if she can track some pace, great, but she can kind of race more prominently. Trevor Whelan's ridden her once before, so should know her a little bit, and yeah, just looked like one that was ready to strike. So yeah, 5.5, especially given that course form, I thought was the play and the marks and everything else I've said. I won't go through all the others. No doubt something else may well pop up now. Obviously, O'Meara's got 2 last time out winners who may do something for various reasons. I talked myself out of those. The other one I will just flag is Existent. They've put a first time visor on. The marks staying stubbornly high. Just to note, for 1 from 32 on turf. In handicaps, 0 from 16, 3 places. They keep persevering. He keeps running well. Maybe the visor will make some sort of difference. They're not exactly trying to get this mark down in quick time. But given his 2 from 5, 3 places on the all-weather, and actually as well, I'd noted when flicking through them all, his wins are when wearing a tongue tie, which he hasn't worn for an age, for whatever reason. You can see that down here, actually, this Wolverhampton. So he's won on the Polytrack and the Tapeta, Chelmsford and Walls, Jan and Feb 22, and then April 22. That's the last time in handicaps that he's raced on the all-weather. Last win there was in a Class 2 handicap of 94. He's now off 88. If and when Stuart Williams ever returns him to the all-weather, he's going to look well treated. He's run some decent races on the turf. And it may be just his marksman stopping them, and there's nothing wrong with the turf at all. But if you like tracking horses and don't mind being patient, Existent may be worth waiting for when he returns to the all-weather, which I'm sure he will do at some point. And if he stays around this mark, it's going to be very workable. and maybe even back on turf if and when that tongue tie ever reappears, which certainly seemed to make a difference for these all-weather runs, but maybe it's not needed anymore. And yeah, we will see. So yeah, I would just note him. I didn't fancy him for today for various reasons, but he might be one to note for down the line when the all-weather returns. So that is Glamorous Breeze. Should hopefully strike at some point soon, and yeah, returned here. I'll quickly touch on Gorak. I know I can drone on far too long. Another weigh-in was Charlie Fellows being in decent form. Yeah, has kind of stepped up a bit in the last couple of weeks. Again, those figures there looking well and decent against the 365-day average. The yard clearly in decent form. Hopefully that rubs off on this horse. Harry Davis has ridden winners for Charlie before as well. And actually, if I just click onto the jockey, in for Charlie Fellows last 5 years, he's 7 from 32, 14 places, 5 from 21, 10 places in handicaps. Some decent profit there. He is a decent young jockey. Like most, when you lose your claim, can struggle a bit, but he knows how to ride, and he's previously got on well with Charlie Fellows. Gorak, I will touch on. Harry Davis hasn't ridden him before. There's this form here on the Rolly Mile course on the 18th, second start back after a break, off 95. He is £1 lower here. That race has worked out okay. And yeah, if he gets back to that form, I thought he could be thereabouts. I'm going to touch on the pace map, which was kind of my main way in. He's only a 5-year-old. They can keep maturing, developing. It's not impossible. We haven't seen the best of him yet, but he can certainly perform from around this mark. The wheels seem to have come off. Well, not Ascot. He was a second in his side there. He was drawn on the wrong side, and that looked decent form as well. So that was an okay run. I don't know what happened in the Bunbury Cup, but he's now 0 from 3 0 places on the July course. Maybe he just doesn't like it. He did look like he sweated up a fair bit there, and he does like to dominate if he can. Certainly race promptly without loads of pressure. And they did go hard there from the get-go, but it looked like he sweated out a bit and he kind of fell in a bit of a hole. That wasn't his running. He is 14 to 1. Evidently, if he does run like that and he just is an out of form horse, he's going to be stuffed. But I think there's some reasons for hope. And the main reason for wanting to have a go at his price is if I just click on this pace map, you may well see why I was intrigued. Rarely is this game this easy, but over the 7 furlongs here, they kind of go downhill for the first furlong and a half too. If Harry can bounce Gorak out and just get him rolling, most of these here, certainly nothing else likes to bomb forward unless something's going to change tactics, which isn't impossible. Certainly, I don't think he'll be pestered. You'd expect them all to be aware of the pace in this. Any good jockey should be. In every race they ride in, so something may want to get a bit more prominent and not give Gorak a totally freebie on the front, but the stalls are central. He might be able to get out and tack across to that far rail, or in this 9-runner race, 10-runner race, he'll just stay up the centre. But yeah, it looks like he's going to get an easy lead, which was at the price, and given leading over this course and distance in current ground conditions is certainly a positive as well. And any horse getting an easy time on the front end can always be dangerous, of course. I'm hoping nothing else changes their tactics. They're normally all ridden in mid-division and need a pace to aim at and a pace to settle off. That's especially true of the Ian Williams horse and the Michael Bell horse, who keep being held up and need plenty of luck in running, but did beat Gorak at Newmarket when he got it a few starts ago, and I think is probably still well handicapped. But hopefully Gorak can get a lead on the front, doss along, stack them up, kick. He does stay a bit further if required, but he keeps galloping. He won't mind what the weather does. He seems versatile. I think probably quicker ground the better, but he won't mind if a little bit of the rain gets in. No excuse there. Like I said, yard flying. He does have a recent decent run to his name this season. Ascot wasn't too bad. He just needs to get back to that Newmarket level 3 starts back. This is a far less competitive race for me than the Bunbury Cup, which of course Ian Williams' horse won. Was then a bit too keen at Ascot, didn't get the pace and didn't get the breaks. If he settles and can race a bit prominently, he may well be the main danger. Under Trevor Whelan, there's evidently still a bit more to come from him. Carry the One will be winning, as will AA Alto, and Carry the One will be winning again at some point when he gets a strong pace to aim at and the pace collapses in front. He seems to need to be held up and needs to be settled. He's probably a little bit tricky. He just needs everything to drop right. So you kind of want a decent price now, I think. I had to go in the Bunbury Cup idiotically at 4s. And again, last time at Ascot at 8s or 9s, which I thought I had to play. But again, a horse got an easy time on the front end there. And yeah, the cards didn't fall right for him. But this one is evidently well, I think he's got a handicap in off 101. When they go a cavalry charge, when he settles and when he gets the breaks. But at some point, he's going to have had enough runs and he'll go out of form. So yeah, he's one to keep an eye on. But for me, for all those reasons stated, at 12, 14 to 1, we will see if Gorak can bounce out and stay there. And if he doesn't, if he's out of form, evidently he'll just travel okay for a time and then fall in a hole. But at 12, 14 to 1, I will roll the dice. Hopefully he gets away. Harry can stack them up, kick, and he has enough in the locker to hold on as they close at him come the line. But yeah, that's it. With that said, those are the two for me for the reasons stated. If you're watching this video on YouTube, there's a link below where you can sign up to the Excellent GG's Gold, either as a free registered user and get access to a load of free stuff each and every day, or take a 30-day trial for £1, which if you like finding your own winners, I would certainly recommend. But with that said, I've been talking for far too long as always, but hopefully I've said something useful both for this evening and moving forwards. And yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Good luck with any bets. And until the next time, this is Josh saying bye for now.